Feeling lethargic? No energy to do much? Depressed? Overweight? Hungover? Coughing? Limping? Is there a weird pain in a weird place? Then you, my friend, might be unhealthy. How does one become unhealthy in America today? Mainly diet and lack of exercise. According to the CDC, we're getting fatter, that's for sure. Back in the early 60s, about 40% of us were overweight. That hasn't changed, but look at how many more of us are obese. Now, about 80% of us are either overweight or just plain extremely unhealthily obese. Kids are so overweight these days that it's estimated that 1 in 5 Americans under the age of 18 already has pre-diabetes. Of course, weight's only one problem in America. We'll get into all the damaging and destructive details later in this video. Now, as New Year's Eve approaches every year, people in America promise themselves they're going to lose weight, stop smoking, stop drinking, and get healthy. It rarely happens. Today we're going to talk about the unhealthiest states in the USA. How did we arrive to such conclusions? It wasn't hard actually. There's a bunch of data on your destructive habits. Yes, you. So grab your oxygen tanks and climb into your mobilized wheelchairs as we take a spin through America's unhealthiest states. Whether you're a smoker and whether you're a drinker, not staying alive, not staying alive. Feel the bed breaking and feel the ground shaking, not staying alive, not staying alive. Not staying alive. As we tour America's unhealthiest states, it's only fitting that we sit on our butts on the couch because, well, the fridge is only 20 feet away and we can smoke and drink all we want. That's how we got unhealthy, and that's how we'll remain, at least for the next 13 minutes. And we kick things off in the state of Indiana, our only Midwest state. Ohio barely missed the cut. Here in Indiana, smoking has increased 6%, cancer deaths have gone up by 2%, and mental health problems are up by 11%. If you look at this graph, Indiana used to be about average health-wise, but things have certainly gone in the wrong direction. Now in comparison, we have Hawaii, our healthiest state. Other healthy states include several in the Northeast like Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. Across the globe, the United States, sadly, ranks towards the bottom when it comes to overall health. One study by the World Health Organization ranked the US as the 10th unhealthiest of all. The Czech Republic and many Eastern European countries rank as the unhealthiest countries in the world, along with Russia. Surprisingly, Afghanistan ranks as the healthiest nation currently, as the study cites low obesity, smoking, and drinking rates there as one reason they're living longer, healthier lives. What's random is that non-communicable and preventable diseases, such as heart disease, some cancers, and diabetes, are killing many first world countries, while third world countries are living much healthier lifestyles. First world problems, people. What's going on here?
Shake and bake, for goodness sake!
Shake and Bake coating mix blends wheat and barley flour and a dozen herbs and spices to help you make a delicious chicken dinner.
They sure didn't know all the good things that go.
For goodness sake.
Into Shake and Bake.
For goodness sake.
Our next stop on our unhealthy tour of America brings us to Tennessee. We're going to remain in this general part of the country for a while now, folks. Here in Tennessee, things haven't really increased at all over time. Tennessee's remained in the bottom 10% health-wise since these studies began way back in 1990. On the bright side, people in Tennessee drink less alcohol than in other states, likely due to a high number of religious families here. And obesity rates have actually decreased in Tennessee over time, as overall only 1 in 3 adults in Tennessee is now considered obese. So sad that 1 in 3 is only. But Tennessee ranks 5th in the US for cancer deaths, 8th for heart disease, and 8th for diabetes. But it's the smoking that's the biggest challenge here in Tennessee. Across America, smoking rates are down from 20% to 15% in the last decade, which is great. But in Tennessee, 22% of people smoke, and 1 in 10 high school kids has had a cigarette in the last week. That's bad. In Tennessee, you can still smoke in some bars and restaurants, although in private workplaces, you cannot smoke inside. However, this map shows that in many states, the ones in dark blue, there are no laws that stop people from smoking in bars, restaurants, or in private workplaces.
Gee, we ought to do something, Fred. Okay? How's about taking a nap? Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it! Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred.
Speaking of smoking, our next stop takes us to South Carolina, which ranks 5th in tobacco production. In many areas of South Carolina, it's one big tobacco field. South Carolina's challenges include high diabetes rates that coincide with an overweight black population, high premature death rates, and low immunization rates among children. Alternatively, South Carolinians drink alcohol far less than in other states. What's also interesting is despite being a heavy tobacco producing state, South Carolina residents are smoking 19% less than they were 10 years ago. That's surprising. Other insights include an obesity rate that's increased by more than 10%, a premature death rate that's shot through the roof, and interestingly, workplace deaths in South Carolina have gone up 38%. What's going on there? South Carolina also ranks 4th highest for infectious diseases in the US too. That means lots of people wind up in hospitals here.
Did you know South Carolina ranks 10th worst for hospitals in America?
I did not know that, Mappy. But it makes sense that all these premature deaths in South Carolina are partially a result of the lack of health care here.
I went to a doctor for a checkup last month and he said I'm in tip-top shape. I've never drank or smoked once in my whole life.
Good for you, Mappy. You get a star. All right, Mappy. Such a role model for everyone. People in South Carolina can learn by his example.
Thank goodness for Pac-Man pasta from Chef Boyardee.
Pac-Man pasta? Little spaghetti shaped like us. Delicious.
Pac-Man pasta from Chef Boyardee. With meatballs, without meatballs, or chicken flavor.
Thank goodness for Pac-Man pasta. Thank goodness for Chef Boyardee.
Here in West Virginia, things are definitely not sound. Despite having the 3rd highest public health budget, the folks here continue to inflict self-harm. This state has the nation's highest drug death rate, for starters, which is one reason premature deaths have gone up by 6% in the past 3 years alone. West Virginia also ranks 1st in the US for obesity rates and 1st in the US for smoking rates. It's hard to quit smoking, though, when it turns out even vaping's killing Americans. But for West Virginia, that's not a good trifecta when your residents are on drugs, eating too much, and smoking all the time. But it's not just West Virginians that are overeating and under-exercising. The obesity rate in America is hitting an all-time high. No surprises there. 1 in 3 Americans is now considered obese. Here in West Virginia, that number's 40%. What's really interesting, though, is that West Virginia ranks best for infectious disease prevention. And I could not find a reason why. It's a mystery, people.
There he is. What a happening dude.
They're a super party animal. Yeah. His name is Bugs McKenzie. A barbecue inside. A barbecue. And a cold Bud Light. A cold Bud Light. Puts him in a party frenzy.
He's Bugs McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Kentucky certainly isn't a very healthy place overall when you look at the data, although I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. Here in the Bluegrass State, things are getting worse. Kentucky had climbed out of the worst 10 in 2008, but overall it's been a downward trend. While many of the other states we talked about had low alcohol intake, in Kentucky it's high. Excessive drinking rates have climbed 27% in the last 3 years alone. And mental disease, cancer deaths, and diabetes are all up between 10 and 20%. Plus, Kentucky ranks 4th highest for drug deaths overall. To top it off, Kentuckians exercise the least amount of any other state. I don't know why, when you have all sorts of affordable exercise equipment like this $4,000 treadmill. What the? Who needs a $4,000 treadmill? What does that thing do? The pavement's free, Kentuckians. Try pounding it sometime.
Yahoo! Mountain Dew! Mountain Dew will tickle your innards cause there's a bang in every bottle.
Arkansas probably isn't a surprise being on this list. For years, Arkansas was second to last, health-wise, but it appears as if they're slowly getting a little bit healthier. Cancer deaths, heart disease, and obesity, and premature deaths have all gone up here in the natural state, though. Arkansas has the 4th highest cancer rate in the nation. Smoking rates are still super high here, too. And Arkansas has the 2nd highest mental illness in the nation. However, if there's a bright spot for Arkansasians to look up to, drug deaths are the 14th lowest and drinking rates are the 8th lowest. So good for you, Arkansas. You get a star for trying. We're leaving the South one more time. This time we're going to Oklahoma. Look at this chart. Way back in 1990, Oklahoma was somewhere in the middle, health-wise. But my, how things have changed. What happened in the 90s here? As it stands today, there is little culture of exercise in the Sooner State, and as a result, obesity rates are up 17%, heart disease is up 5%, and mental illness has spiked 19%. Despite the fact that Oklahoma has the nation's 6th highest number of doctors per capita, the population here continues to smoke and eat at very high rates. You know the doctors here are giving them solid advice, but I suppose Oklahomans are just being blockheads about their health.
Juan keeps making tamales every night. If I don't stop eating them, I'm gonna be fat myself one day.
Okay, why are you having dinner with Juan every night anyways?
We're study buddies.
What are you studying?
Anatomy.
Okay, that's just stupid. And while you might be in great shape, Karen, especially for a map, you're mentally unstable. And for me, the inside is more important than the outside. Yeah, you can eye punk me all you want to. I don't care what you think. Oh, hey, look, a Dr. Pepper commercial. I love me some Dr. Pepper.
I drink Dr. Pepper, don't you see? 'Cause it's the perfect taste for me. That original taste, you know, is making peppers everywhere I go. There's boating peppers, toting peppers, cooking peppers, good-looking peppers. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
We're here in Alabama and in the Deep South, where we will remain for the remainder of this video. Back in the late 90s, Alabama got their health on for a minute, and then they got lazy and irresponsible all over again. Alabamans hardly drink booze in comparison to the rest of the nation. Instead, their escape is food, as the Yellowhammer State's the 5th fattest overall. Other dings on the Alabama scorecard: 5th highest for infectious diseases, 3rd highest for premature deaths, 3rd highest for diabetes, and 2nd for heart disease. And Alabama has the least number of dentists in the nation too. How are you gonna eat all your fruits and veggies without your teeth, Alabama? Especially these new apples that they just invented that stay fresh for a whole year. What the? That can't be good for you, all that GMO stuff. Right next door, and a little bit unhealthier, are Alabama's good friends over in Mississippi. Seems like every time we do a negative video, these two are neck and neck at the bottom every single time. Look at this chart. They're not even trying here. Since records have been kept, Mississippi has either been the unhealthiest or almost the unhealthiest. Looks like in 1998, everybody put their Big Macs down for a minute. It's not drinking or drugs that are a problem here at all. Mississippi ranks 3rd lowest for drinking and 8th lowest for drug use. It's just food, cigarettes, and lack of exercise. A lot of food, lots of packs of Marlboros, and very little exercise. The medical situation here is terrible. Mississippi basically is almost last in all healthcare metrics. And this is also the most infectious, diseasey place in the country too. Is diseasey a word? People are getting sicker and sicker here, which is evident by Mississippi's decline in life expectancy at a time when the rest of the world's living longer. Mississippi's life expectancy has gone down by 3%, which is a lot. But overall in America, it's ticked down too over the last decade. Besides the bad eating and other nasty habits, part of that has to do with an increase in suicide rates in the US. So a lot of these places are in the South. Why is that? Well, the culinary South, home to chicken fried steak, buttered biscuits, and putting gravy on everything, is also a very poor and somewhat uneducated region, and bad health has been directly attributed to a lack of education and income. So basically, when you eat bad food, don't exercise, have poor schooling, and grow up poor, you're going to be unhealthy. And that's the Deep South through and through. Okay, here we are, our final stop along our ill thrill ride. This is Louisiana. For years, Louisiana was the unhealthiest state, and then sometime around the turn of the century, things got a little bit better. But alas, here they are at the bottom once again. Louisiana has the nation's highest prevalence of children in poverty at 28%. It has the 3rd highest smoking rate, 5th highest obesity rate, and ranks 4th highest in preventable illness, and is top 5 for cancer rates, heart disease, diabetes, and mental illness. If you live in Louisiana, you're likely an unhealthy individual. Okay, so here they are, the unhealthiest states in the nation, with most of the South leading the way. And here are the healthiest states in America, with the upper Midwest and mountain states along with the Northeast remaining very healthy in comparison with the rest of the nation. If there's a bright side overall, despite getting fatter, our childhood poverty rate, which correlates to an unhealthy lifestyle, has dipped 8% over the last 5 years, so that's good. In addition, there are more mental health providers here in America than ever before, so that helps, and we're smoking less than ever, which is a positive sign. But we continue to struggle. If you live in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, or any of the other states we talked about, and you lead an unhealthy lifestyle, maybe today is the first day of the rest of your life. You can turn things around. Start small and work to make your life better and healthier. You can do it. We're all behind you. So we talked about the best places to raise a family, but the reality is there's a bunch of kids who don't have a family at all. Think about adopting a child. There's some really cool kids out there who need a home, and there's not enough people to take them home and love them. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.